Hey Saints fans, make sure you subscribe. Now let's get into this video. Yeah, man, let's get a props, man. I want to talk about the Saints, man. Because obviously, man, it's sports, man, right?
Yeah.
And so we all hard on, right? We all hard on it. Like like we love it and we care about it, and so we critique it, right? Like to the maximum sometimes. And obviously the Saints, man, they started 1-8. Had the quarterback change, finished 6-11.
Yeah.
I thought they could have probably won that game yesterday. But
For sure.
this weekend. But they didn't. Carolina ends up, winning the division. And I just thought that was just, a nice, like, to the Buccaneers, because
Definitely helped them.
for the last 3 or 4 years, like they've been a team that, kind of edged us out as far as, just being NFC South champs. So I just thought that was a great, like, to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
kudos.
Happy that they get to sit home this offseason. And I hate saying that because like all those coaches was like dudes that drafted me.
Right.
And so I feel bad about that. But they've seen the playoffs enough the last few years, and but yeah, I feel like obviously they made the switch from Rattler to Shough, and I just thought like I thought he elevated a lot of them dudes around him, and I don't think Rattler was quite able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of mentioned this, but you could see the difference in when like fans and coaches support something, because you could see it just kind of blossom
the
to
energy
something like
just
pretty.
went through
It's
the
different,
roof.
and obviously it's it's more excitement. He was a high draft pick. And I think his skill set is something that you gotta have in like today's game. Like you gotta have a dude that's able to just work the pocket, right, and make plays not just with his arms but with his legs. So and then we talk about obviously him being able to elevate Chris Olave and Jawan Johnson and just some of these dudes that we've been kind of waiting on them to show us what they got. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought Chris in particular, Olave, I thought he had one of his best seasons. Once Shough took over, and obviously they paid Jawan $10 million a year. So everybody was wondering like why. Right. And so I thought he was able to kind of show who he was too. And I was thinking, I'm like,
he definitely showed that.
Like, what grade would I give them this year? And I'm saying to myself, well, it was 6-11, but you found your starting quarterback, right? Like, and you actually ended up playing really good defense, right? With a defense that people probably didn't thought was going to be half as good as they were. So, I mean, in my opinion, man, being able to start 1-8 is ugly, but being able to finish with 5 wins, towards the back end of the season, and 3 losses. So, I mean, to me, that's a winning record, right? Like, so once Shough took over, I feel like, they had something to work with. So for me, it was like a C-. I kind of went back and forth, like, do I want to give him a D+, C-? But I think a C- was worthy. I mean, they didn't have any Pro Bowlers. I thought Olave was gonna make it, but I think you gotta win a few more games, right? For coaches and players to sort of get those like postseason nods. But I think, in my opinion, I think a C- is a fair grade to kind of give them. What would you have given them?
Man, you right in the ballpark. I was saying a C, man. Like to start that way and finish the way that they did with a first time head coach as well. I think they fared out pretty decent, especially with their defense picking up, more towards the back of the end. Like I said, they found a quarterback, so that was a great thing. Like they just had so much more energy when he walked out on the field. You know, it's like the confidence, you know, from the linemen to the receivers, you know, everybody's confidence just went through the roof. And from that point on, you could see guys just making plays. You know, we had a running back estimate. A lot of people probably didn't know who that guy was.
I still don't know who he is.
But you know, he played running back for the Saints, and he don't mind toting that pill. You know, so but just having a quarterback that can elevate your team and just give guys confidence around them, man, that did wonders for us. You know, like I said, the defense was firing on all cylinders towards the back end of the season. I thought that was like perfect, man. Just going into the next season with that momentum.
Yeah, I think
it's important.
I think the way Tyler Shough was able to play, I mean, he's definitely put some pressure on him for next season.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you know, I think with the way he played, you know, the optimism is that, you know, the Saints could win the division next year, right? Like they could be a factor.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, you look forward to seeing that, but. You know, obviously he didn't have that sort of pressure on him this season, right? And I think for some people, they're able to kind of, you know, they able to kind of show their good stuff, right? When, you know, they back not necessarily against the wall,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and now it's like next year, you know, it's gonna be like totally different expectations,
correct. Yeah,
you know, and so you know, what that type of pressure gonna do. You know, and what I've seen it done to people, you know, but then you see dudes like Tom Brady, or, you know, you see other dudes that's just, you know, they find a way to kind of reverse the pressure and put it on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And go on to just have a great career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really want to see, you know, how he respond next year. And I think that's going to say a lot about, you know, because we see it all the time. Well, not all the time, but, you know, we see a dude get hot early on and then they kind of fizzle out.
Yeah.
You know,
like we seen with Jay Daniels.
So
he had a great rookie season.
I mean, but you know, so I think you know, it's a big off season. Obviously last year's draft for the Saints was a good one. So I think this next one needs to be equally, you know, as good. And you know, obviously they traded a few people, so they got a few more draft picks to work with. You know, in this upcoming draft, and so they're gonna have to really hit on that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's gonna have to be a few more dudes that have to take over. You know, Cam's getting old, DeMario's getting up in age, and you know, I think Kamara, that contract, and you know, that's probably up in the air. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have a few questions to answer, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the management and coaches side of it, how they respond. Because I thought the players that was on the field this year, I thought they responded, you know, how pros do. You know, so you know, them being able to finish the season the way they did, I think that says a lot about that the leadership of that group, you know, and the players, you know, on the team.
Man, while Tyler, you know, finished his rookie season with the highest completion percentage among rookie quarterbacks, and he had the most passing yards per game, won 5 of his last 9 starts, you know. But obviously he didn't have a full season, you know, so I'm not sure if he's going to get that nod, you know, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I believe he is ranked 3rd, and T-Mac.
That's crazy.
T-Mac from the Panthers is ranked 1st. Jackson Dart, quarterback from the Giants.
That's why, you know, that's why winning is so important.
Yeah.
Right, because before he lost that last game, he was actually 1st.
Right.
And you know,
that's how fast
people
like
just want to be associated with winners.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's ultimately why, you know, Tet got the nod over him, and then you know, obviously I think Jackson Dart is just, you know, I think it goes back to body of work. You know, I think Jackson Dart has some wild plays. You know, and then you add in that New York market and just that whole effect. You know, so I could see why Shough has kind of dropped to 3.
Right.
Because like what we see him do and we appreciate is probably not what others appreciate. Right. You know, so a lot of times people want you to go out there and have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's not always the game plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think, you know, what Tyler was able to do with what he had.
Yeah.
Like to us, he deserves, you know, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way we see it down here in the Bayou. But you know, obviously we, you know, we're fans of him. We like him. we support him. So
Right,
you know,
right.
but it's not always the way Vegas and others, you know, look at it.
Right. Man, do you think he would be a top pick in the draft, like if there was like a redo?
For sure. I think it'll be, yeah, I think him and Jackson Dart would definitely be, I mean, you don't know who's going to go 1 or 2, but I
Right,
think them two would
right.
definitely
Right.
jump to the
Man,
to the
because I
front of the draft. for
remember
sure.
when we drafted him, like social media just was going crazy. Like, who is this dude? And man, they didn't drafted this old guy. He's injury prone, and they was just going off before they even seen anything. And then, of course, they had like a couple highlights.
I mean, I get it,
I
but
think it was like a preseason game, bro. Like they grabbed him and they spun him around and he
threw the ball.
he
Yeah.
threw the ball. I was like, oh Lord, this shit not gonna end well, bro. I swear to God.
Yeah, bro, I remember that.
He just kind of like just threw the ball like to like just anybody just catch it. I just don't want to get hit too hard.
I want to tell him too, bro. 'Cause like, welcome to New Orleans. Like, welcome to Louisiana, bro. Like, well, like, yeah, they're gonna talk about your worst play in the game, and you know that's the play that they're gonna microscope, man.
Bro, they'll love you and hate you at the same time.
Yeah, bro. So I'm actually proud to see us shift and just get behind him and support him. You know.
So I know you said like the Saints like next year, like what would you predict them to be? Like what you think they could do with Tyler?
I think they could be division winners, but you know, like that's not all on him. Like winning the NFC South, you know, being divisional champs, like that's not all on the quarterback. And so, you know, like I said, I'm excited to see, you know, what type of dudes they draft and like who do they build this team around? Who do they help Shough, you know, and build a team around? So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're gonna respond. You know, the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And you know, I think if they're able to get sort of the right pieces, for sure.
Right.